Carlos, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Feels like people have been talking about this fight forever. How does it feel to finally be days away from getting in there with Matt Brown?
Feels good. This is the third full training camp I've put in to prepare for this guy, and we finally get to get in there and get it done.
I wanted to ask about that. You prepared for him obviously 2013, again 2018. How has the training and strategy changed for him over the years, if at all?
Um, well, even though I didn't get to fight him those last times, the skills that I worked on are still there. So I didn't have to build a whole new skill set. It was stuff that just basically kind of refreshing things that we had already done. So um, yeah, so I guess that was a plus. That was a positive.
I mean, you're obviously a veteran of the game. This is going to be another one of the biggest names in the welterweight division, just adding to your resume. At this stage, are there still guys that you're looking to add to your list of opponents, or is it just about taking who they give you?
Um, yeah, like I don't. There's a number of guys that I would like to test myself against, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's always new dudes. There's always more talent coming up, and I love to challenge myself. So there's a few guys that I'd like to fight this year.
I wanted to ask you about something. I know you just spoke with the in-person media there on the island that this is the last fight on your UFC contract. I am wondering, win or lose, if they were to say, like, thank you, Carlos, for everything, would you still be interested fighting anywhere else?
Uh, yeah, I think so. I think I'd consider it. I mean, I love what I do, and if I could still get out there and you know get paid to fight people, I think I'd entertain the idea of fighting for another organization.
Final question. A lot of people are excited about this matchup. The fans who are going to be there in person are excited. How does this play out in your mind?
I It's cliche, but don't blink. I feel like I'm going to get this thing done.
Hey, thank you, Carlos. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Alistair Bishop with MMA Republic. Your line is open.
Carlos, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. So I just wanted to touch on you were talking about opponents, and I'm just wondering at this point in your career, what are the kind of fights that you're looking to be involved in?
Uh, like part of me wants to test myself against any other guy in the division. Part of me wants, yeah, probably a bigger part of me wants the bigger money fights that there's a lot of hype around. So, I'd like a rematch maybe against Nick Diaz if he comes back, something like that.
And would it be fair enough to say that the title aspirations are kind of on the back burner, and it's more about adding to a complete legacy?
Um, I'm just enjoying the ride, man. And I'm continuing to improve as a martial artist. As far as the title, first things first. I gotta stop Matt Brown this weekend, and then we'll see.
And on that note, if you go forward a little bit in time to look back, how valuable does a win over someone like Matt Brown? How does it resonate for you over your career as a whole?
I think it depends on how I get it done. That's what's important. Um, I intend to go out there and do it in violent fashion. Stop Matt Brown, um, and that's I think that'll be a feather in my hat for sure.
There was talk. We just spoke about the last fight on your contract. Hypothetically, if you could script your final fight in the UFC, what would that look like?
I don't know. Uh, Nice, bloody, violent finish, and then I guess I leave my gloves in the octagon. I don't know. I haven't thought about a script for it.
possibly the most important question of the day. I saw on your Instagram you've released a pair of jeans as a coalition. How closely related are they to the likes of Chuck Norris's jeans?
Mine are better. You can throw better kick, more powerful. Mine have a little bit of stretch, which adds to the elasticity of any kind of a kick that you want to throw. So yeah, you can tell Chuck Norris I said so too.
Fantastic. And the last question, being from South Africa, a very young MMA nation, we always look up to guys like yourself. What advice would you have for young MMA prospects on the rise?
Get a well-rounded skill set, take care of yourself. Longevity is, I think, dictated by how you live your life outside the cage. Don't spar too hard. Don't get hit in the head too much. It's all good advice.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir, and best of luck.
Thanks.
We'll go next to Damon Martin with MMAfighting.com. Your line is open.
Hey, Carlos, you've had a lot of opponents, over the years, and you've had fights come and go. Some fights get scheduled, they don't happen. Obviously, we know you and Matt Savages, but what is it about this matchup? Do you feel like people have been so excited about it because you get booked twice, and a lot of times it just falls apart. We never see it again. But it seems like everyone wanted to revisit this fight.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're both aggressive fighters. Both very skilled strikers. Everybody wants to see a striking battle. I think that's the thing. I mean, we're well-rounded guys. We're MMA or we're mixed martial artists, but people always want to see a striking battle between a couple of guys who like to get after it.
Absolutely. Your last fight, obviously a big win for you. Court McGee showed a ton of toughness. I think a lot of people would have gone away in that fight. We saw what his nose looked like afterwards, and he talked. When you look at Matt Brown, do you see that same kind of toughness in him? He's kind of that guy, that gritty veteran. They always gunning for the knockout. Do you kind of put him in that same kind of category as a tough opponent you'll have to work to put away?
Yeah, I think Court has a stronger chin. I don't think that has anything to do with toughness. Matt's sure tough as hell, as tough as anybody. I think Court is not as aggressive, but more technical. Matt is way more aggressive, but I think less technical. So there's some similarities, but some differences as well.
You've had opponents that you've had to go hunting for, and I know that can be frustrating as a fighter when you're striking and a guy doesn't seem to want to engage or whatever. When you look at a Matt Brown, I don't think you're going to have that problem. He's kind of a hard charging set. Do you feel like that actually gives you more opportunities? You think I think of a fight like Dan Hardy, a guy who was willing to exchange with you. We saw what happened. Do you see Matt Brown in that same kind of mold?
Yeah, I do. I know where he'll be. He'll be right in front of me the whole fight. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have plenty of opportunity to capitalize.
I don't want to hammer too much on the contract stuff, but I am curious, since this is the final fight in your current deal, was that a conscious decision? Did you want to get to this point to where, I'm not saying you want to test free agency, but you want to, re-up, maybe figure out where your future lies? Because obviously you're at a point in your career where I imagine money, bigger contract, those things have to matter, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, I mean, my performance over the last couple of years has not been stellar. It's not been the best period of my career as far as wins and losses. So what's really important is putting on a good show on Saturday night, and then I think I'll be in a good position to kind of figure out exactly what I want to do.
And last one, following up on that, we've seen other fighters go into this situation. It does raise the intensity, raises the expectations. They kind of gamble on themselves. And we have seen it pay off. Jake Shields did it years ago. We saw Anthony Pettis just doing his last fight. He kind of gambled on himself. Obviously, got a big win and obviously inked a new contract with a different promotion, but obviously he built on that. Do you kind of enjoy that pressure, saying, hey, that what comes next will kind of be determined by this performance?
Yeah. I think that's how it is anyway. That's how the fight game is, and all of this is a gamble. We get to ante up against another guy and put everything on the line, and winner takes all. And that's the beauty of it. But that's the thrill of all this shit. Even more so when you're up for a new contract.
Thanks, Carlos.
We'll go next to Omar Mert with S-Sport. Your line is open.
Hello, Carlos.
Hello.
Carlos, MMA is changing every day, and you will be fighting an old-fashioned guy just like you. How does that make you feel?
I'm excited to fight him. I think Matt and I are cut from the same cloth. We're both fighters at heart. We do this because we love to do it. We love it because we like to get in there and throw down. And so that definitely gets my blood going.
Okay. What do you think about Abu Dhabi and Fight Island? Do you have a chance to tell about a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. No, I had an amazing experience last time. It was incredible coming out here and just being involved in this whole experience, and then obviously getting the win like I did last time. I have fond memories, and I plan on making some more.
Okay, my last question, Carlos. As an MMA fighter or a fan, what do you think about Conor versus Dustin fight? Do you have any prediction on that fight?
Mm-hmm. And I'm excited. I'm a fan of both those guys, and I think it'll be a different fight. I think Dustin has come a long way. I mean, he was a great fighter back then, but he's matured quite a bit, and I think that he'll at least give Conor a run for his money, if not come out with the win.
Okay, thank you, Carlos. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Jordan Wahlberger with the Horn. Your line is open.
Hey, Carlos. Good to talk to you again.
Hey.
Hey, you came back after 20 months off, and looking back now that you have that win over Court McGee, what did you learn or gain from that time away?
Patience. No, it was tough having to, I guess, wait to get signed for a fight and then getting injured, having surgery, coming back. I mean, it was not ideal, and I guess at the end of that, coming away with the win against Court, that I still got it, and that my formula still works.
You and Matt Brown, obviously, you guys are both warriors. You've been obviously in some absolute wars. So is he. You mentioned before that you're excited about the fight. But, kind of what makes you excited, and also how much do you respect Matt Brown as a fighter?
I got a ton of respect for Matt. I got a ton of respect for anybody who steps in the octagon and puts it on the line. But Matt's a hell of a fighter. He brings it. If he gets dropped, he's had a lot of fights that he's been in really, really bad spots and turned it around and come back, and that says something about a person. I forget the other part of your question though.
Just why are you excited about fighting him? Obviously you guys both have a ton of fight performance bonuses, and so how do you expect that to go in a fight?
It could go a lot of different ways. But I'm gonna fight smart, and I'm going to take him out, and that's why I'm excited. Get out there, get a good finish against a tough opponent, get paid, go home.
Obviously, you mentioned that it's your last fight of the contract, but you've been fighting in the UFC since 2009. You were in WEC before that. Your first pro fight was in 2002. What are your goals right now in fighting?
Just to continue to improve, continue to grow as a fighter. I got a pretty tough test in front of me. That's my goal. I got short-term goals. Next 4 days, that's what I'm focused on.
All right, Carlos. Hey, we can't wait for the fight and especially to see it showcased on ABC. Best of luck.
Yeah, thanks.
We'll go next to Sumik Dada with Sportskeeda. Your line is open.
Hey Carlos, welcome back, and I hope you're doing well.
Thanks.
So, 2020, as we know, was a pretty unusual year for all of us, but you made your return after a 2-year gap and finally got back on that win column as well. How would you describe this past 1 year has been for you?
Um, it's been interesting. It's man, I don't even know how to describe it. It's had a lot of time to chill and train and hang with my kids. Some good stuff, some bad stuff.
So, you previously mentioned that you're interested in money fights moving forward in your career. Do you have any particular name or an opponent who you consider as a money fight?
I keep going back to the fight with Nick Diaz. There's a lot of hype behind Nick, even though I mean he hasn't fought in a long time. But that could be, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's off the top of my head. That's the one that I can think of. That's not a title fight.
So, would you be interested in fighting him if he comes back this year?
Yeah, for sure. I said that before my last fight. Still interested in that fight, so we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I imagine he would want that fight. That was I guess somewhat of a controversial decision, even though it was a unanimous decision, and I feel like I won the fight. But a lot of people don't think so.
So, speaking of opponents, you'll be facing Matt Brown this weekend. Now, after after your last win, you kind of put him on notice by saying that he needs to be bubble wrapped just so he could make it to the fight. Given that this fight has been booked for the third time now, is there any sort of bad blood between you, or is it just usual business for you?
There's no like bad blood on like a personal level, but professionally, yeah, it's been annoying to train for this dude and then have him pull out. And the first time around, I didn't even get a replacement fight. So I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's healthy. I'm glad we get to actually fight.
So, last question from me. With a victory this weekend, you'll be on a 2-fight win streak. Now, I mentioned that this will be your last fight on your current contract, but if you do stay around in the UFC after this, where do you envision yourself in this stacked welterweight division?
Just I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I'm wherever I am. They'll call me up and tell me who they want me to fight, and get it done.
Well, I look forward to your fight this weekend, and good luck to you, sir.
Thanks.
We'll go next to Jordan Ellis with Low Kick MMA. Your line is open.
Carlos, I just want to touch on the Nick Diaz rematch potentially. Since you last mentioned it at your last fight and now, and obviously you mentioned it again, have you spoke to the UFC or had any word that that's something they're interested in doing?
No, I think that depends quite a bit on Nick and if he's actually coming back. So no, the fight that the UFC wanted was this fight against Matt Brown. I was even lobbying to fight Mike Perry when his opponent dropped out. I forget who dropped out, but anyway, I wanted that fight, and that didn't happen because they wanted this one. So.
Okay, and just before you said you mentioned about enjoying the ride, and how much more enjoyable is it coming into this fight off the back of a win? It's been a while since you'd had your last one. It does it feel like the pressure's off now, or?
I just, I keep using the word momentum, but I definitely have built some momentum, and not just, I guess that's kind of like an intangible thing, but I got right back into training camp. I felt great. I was in good shape. I'm building on, the different things that I was working on before. And I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
And just reflecting on your last fight, you said that you felt like you've still got it. You've still got it against Court McGee. You felt that. In terms of levels, do you feel like you're 100% still?
Yeah, I do. I'm a better fighter in some ways than I was in the past. I've developed in different ways. I have a more a deeper skill set. I've worked quite a bit on some of the holes that were in my game in the past, and I'm excited to get in there and show that, prove that.
Okay, well, can't wait to watch. Thanks for answering my questions.
Yeah, sure.
All right, thank you very much, Carlos. You're all set.
Thanks, guys.